On this episode of the Turnbuckle, Seth Rollins gives his thoughts on CM Punk potentially returning to the WWE. Triple H says The Rock isn't going to make it to WrestleMania 39, and Jey Uso breaks his silence after the Royal Rumble. Folks, it's time to hit a wrestling mood of some wrestling news because it's time for the Turnbuckle Season 6. Let's go! In an interview with Wrestling Inc. senior news editor Nick Hausman at the WWE 2K23 Royal Rumble weekend hands-on event, Seth Rollins was quick to make his negative feelings toward Punk known. When asked whether he'd like to see Punk back in WWE, Rollins replied, "Phil, stay away, you cancer, get away from me forever." Referring to Punk only by his real first name, Rollins continued by echoing sentiments felt by others who aren't fond of Punk. "I don't like Phil, he's a jerk. Oh, did we just figure that out? We figured it out over there in AEW. We knew it over here. I don't want him back. Go do something else." So it's clear that there are a couple of people within WWE, within wrestling as a whole, who clearly have their thoughts about CM Punk and just, his overall character and how he carries himself and everything like that. And I just, personally, I can't help but feel as though this was like, now, okay, Seth Rollins is a human being and he has a brain and he has independent thought, and obviously Seth Rollins is allowed to think these things. And, he doesn't have to come out there. What's the news? We don't like him? Okay, I don't like him either. Yeah, I hate the guy. You know what I'm saying? I just feel as though that some of the... Coco? I had a feeling it was Coco. My dog just walked in. All right, we've got a new guest. Okay. Coco, you've been sticking to wrestling these past couple months. How do you feel about CM Punk as a whole? Like, how do you feel about, like, his attitude towards wrestling and just how he conducts himself in the ring and what have you, and, the bridges that he burns and everything like that? Because he's a pretty polarizing guy, He's got a lot of opinions about a lot of wrestlers and vice versa. Oop. Is that your honest opinion? Are you sure? Because there's a lot of people watching right now. They're gonna have thoughts. No? Okay, see? She can't take the pressure. She wants to get out of here. That's it. It's you vultures yelling at her about her opinion, all right? But at the end of the day, man, to call him a cancer just seems very excessive and, like, unnecessarily rude, and it just feels like you're piling on because you know that he is not a universally liked person, and you don't want to be the odd one out. You don't want to be the black sheep in the whole scenario. So you're like, oh, we don't like him? Okay, well then I don't like him either. That's perfectly fine. And I don't really think that's cool. I think that if you have an opinion on something, I think that you need to do the due diligence to yourself to stand up for that. Not if it's, like, universally wrong, okay? Not if it's like, oh, I believe that there's the hydrogen monoxide in chickens. Like, if you're just spouting nonsense, maybe don't, like, subscribe to that. But other than that, man, I really don't think CM Punk is, like, that bad. Okay, like, I think everyone just needs to relax. Next, we're going to talk about Triple H on The Rock at WrestleMania and how he doesn't think that it's in the cards. WWE Chief Creative Officer Triple H said, "I just don't think it's in the cards" with regard to a possible WrestleMania 39 appearance by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Speaking at the Royal Rumble press conference following Saturday's event, Triple H was asked about whether or not The Rock would be appearing at WrestleMania 39 on April 1st and April 2nd at SoFi Stadium. "He can't get in shape in time. That's what you all tell me," Levesque joked before answering his question in earnest. "He's incredibly busy. There's a part of him, if he could be here for this WrestleMania in Hollywood, he would turn over every stone and walk through fire to be able to do it. I just don't think it's in the cards." Levesque said that due to a mutual respect between The Rock and the company, he would not expect an appearance unless The Rock could devote himself fully to the experience. Triple H said that the door remains open for appearances by The Rock in the future and that the company has an open door policy for Johnson. "We always have conversations with him because he loves it so much, and we'd love for him to be a part of it. He's the biggest star in Hollywood, maybe the most recognizable person on the planet. This is his home. He has an open invitation. We don't lock the door, but he's incredibly busy. But he knows the door's open, and when he has the time to walk through it, he can come in and electrify everybody." I like this. I like the development of this, mainly just because, it was all over the place. It was a thing of like, all right, it's going to be Rock Roman at WrestleMania. That's the plan. And this was going all the way back when Vince was still in charge. Like, this is before Vince was even, there were shades of Vince, leaving. The Rock versus Roman was the plan for WrestleMania 39 for like the longest time. And then little snippets of like, oh, there's a potential chance he can't make it, and oh, there's a potential chance if he can't make it, we're going to do like a different plan and stuff like that. And that started happening and everything. And then over time, it eventually just molded into, yeah, he's not really showing up. Or no, people thought he was going to show up at the Rumble. I genuinely thought he was going to show up at the Rumble. I thought when Roman was wailing down on Sami Zayn, I thought that, we were going to smell what he was cooking. But no, we didn't, which if anything, to be totally honest with you, I think it's way better. I think the storyline doesn't need The Rock. I think The Rock doesn't need to be anywhere near the storyline, and that's no offense to The Rock at all. I think the storyline itself is just so, like, captivating all on its own that if you put anybody else extra into this, it would just muddy the whole thing up and it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. So, oh, he fell over. You gotta let me know, okay? How am I supposed to? Also, he has to be in the hard cam, all right? Gotta make sure I'm doing this right. We're not gonna see The Rock at WrestleMania. I don't necessarily know when we're gonna see him again, but you know what? When he does come back, it'll be great. No, it'll be electrifying. There we go. Gotta say that. Finally, Jey Uso breaks silence after the Royal Rumble main event. Earlier today, Jey took to social media to comment on what happened last night. On his Instagram, the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champion wrote, "I'm out," with a drop of blood emoji. On his Instagram stories, Jey shared a photo of himself going in the back and a photo of Reigns in the ring side by side with the caption, "Run it back." Just a week ago on the Raw's XXX special, Jey stood up for Zayn during the tribal court segment. The two weren't always friends. For a while, Jey was the only Bloodline member who didn't warm up to Zayn. They really became friends and brothers last November at the WWE Survivor Series War Games event. I will tell you this in confidence, this is probably one of the greatest storylines that I've ever witnessed in my entire life. Okay, this is on par with Triple H and Randy Orton. This is on par with Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is really captivating stuff. Every character, I think the one thing that makes it really good is that every character has their own motivations and set personalities. This isn't just 5 or 6 people just being swished together in one room and then everybody's just waiting for the magic to happen. Everybody has motivations. Roman Reigns is trying to keep the bloodline intact. Solo Sikoa is just the muscle and he's just doing what he's told. Jimmy and Jey obviously have a relationship with Sami Zayn, but Jimmy is like, hey man, this guy is, you know, the head honcho, I gotta listen to him. And Jey's like, hey man, you mess with my relationships and that's not cool, man. My heart, it's really what I thought as a kid. I just do this. I cannot wait to see where their story is gonna go. I have no idea what is gonna happen on SmackDown. I highly doubt anybody else knows what's gonna happen on SmackDown. More reason to tune in. I mean, bro, one of the best actors, all right, shout out to Jey, and I mean, like, literally everybody else doing exactly what they need to be doing to make the storyline as fantastic as possible, and I cannot wait to see what is going to happen with it. I literally cannot wait. All right, Coco, what do we talk about? All right, I need you, Coco, you gotta be in the mic. If we're gonna... All right, be on the desk. All right, here we go. What do we talk about, Coco? I need you to look for me. So, we talked about Seth Rollins on possible CM Punk WWE return. He called him cancer, Coco. I don't think that you're allowed to say that to people. I feel as though that if you're going to insult somebody in such a manner like that, they really have to do something like worthy of being called that name. Like, I would call CM Punk like a butthead or an asshole, you know what I mean? Just because that's like the most fitting like insult. Coco, are you even listening to me? I'm talking to you right now about very integral news topics, okay? And you're just giving me the cold shoulder. I don't appreciate this. All right, Coco, I would never call you. Hey, now, don't hit my mic, okay? This setup is very intricate. Coco, I would never call you a cancer. You're the biggest doggy. So, next we have Triple H. All right, Coco, you know The Rock, right? You watch The Rock all the time. He's not going to be right. No, Coco, he's not going to be a WrestleMania. I know. He's not going to be a WrestleMania. So, we don't actually know when he's going to show up. There's a potential chance that it might all just be a big red herring, and he could potentially show up at WrestleMania as a surprise. Maybe he'll show up at the end. Maybe he'll make an appearance after Elimination Chamber and like set up for that. Or maybe he'll do a Rock and John Cena and show up after the Raw, after WrestleMania, and then set up a match next year for the next WrestleMania. I don't actually know, though. Jey Uso breaks his silence on Instagram. I accidentally bookmarked that, and then I downloaded the page by accident. Okay. Jey! All right, so you know, we talked about Jey Uso before the cameras were rolling. We talked about him. So you already know everything. Coco, can you get in the shot, please? Gosh, you're like out of frame. I'm trying not to like drop you. Gosh. All right. If you're going to stand up, at least stand up. She's fine. Okay. All right. After that, she's fine. Jey Uso. How do you feel about him? Do you think that he's an interesting character? I feel as though that he's got a lot of different emotions going on right now, and he's dealing with a lot of different things and thinking about a lot of stuff. And I feel as though that in kayfabe, I feel like that Jey and Jimmy and everybody are going to need to talk about this, and it's going to be very interesting, and I can't wait to see how it's going to unfold. Coco, do you want to do the outro? Here, we'll do it together. All right. So that's going to do it for this episode. Hopefully everybody has a wonderful tonight and a wonderful tomorrow. And as always, saying big hugs all around.